I'm sure you have. The kind of assessment you have done at this particular level is the global macro assessment of everything globally. Are we getting the optimal value from our efforts? That may not be the case. And you can just do some synopsis of, what is going on in these respective sectors. But the real assessment, SWOT analysis will be done by the time you are doing the replanning, because the issues that a particular sector has may not be the same with another. So you have to break it down to that particular level. And of course, you will have what we call an envisioning workshop. An envisioning workshop will still require, Madam, that envisioning workshop will still require the presence of Mr. Governor and all the leadership of this state. They must be there. The speaker, the chief judge, or if there are very, very big people in this state that are opinion molders that can contribute to all those things, please bring all of them together. When we did we brought everybody together, development partners, all of them. And you can be sure that the kind of support, the kind of value you will get from all this, because they are professionals. They are professionals. It's going to be enormous. So let us, have that in mind. And after the envisioning workshop, that's where you develop your vision, your mission, and all the guide principles, what will be the objective, and all the likes. When we did our own off-site, we left the office environment for 5 days. And I realized that even 5 days was not enough. But at the end of the day, the 5 days gave us what we need to be able to create the vision, the mission, the core values, the objectives, etc. Start from morning to night and, every day. Everybody was there, including the governor was with us the first day. But subsequently, his chief of staff was with us absolutely, completely, during our own planning sessions. Well, let me leave this one because we are not yet there. When we get there, those people that will lead will guide us through. Well, I think what I want to emphasize here is just one thing, is to make a difference between strategic planning and I think I did it a little before, and operational efficiency. You may want to say that, yes, planning is just, let us improve on how we want to be doing it. That will not give you a competitive advantage. What is strategic in strategic planning is the fact that you are creating a unique value that is different from what you know. And there is no way you can create that unique value unless you step out from where you are. Operational efficiency looks at doing things better, looking at things from within the organization. You are looking from within. In the Ministry of Budget, what can we be doing better? And you are trying to do it. In the Ministry of Agric, what can we do better? What you are doing better may be the wrong thing, and you are doing the wrong thing better. You can imagine what kind of problem you'll be creating for the society. But strategic planning takes us out of that don't think from within. You must think from outside. It's outside in, not inside out. You must think from the outside. And what is outside there? It is all those strategic stakeholders that you have identified. You must put yourself in their position to be able to understand exactly what are the things that they want. And it is what those things that they want that you'll be creating, that you'll be producing. And that is the service you'll be delivering. But if you are just looking at your organization and you are thinking from within, you are creating value that is only from your own perspective that you see it, which may not necessarily be meeting the needs of the people that you are serving. And that is the difference between, strategic planning and operation. Another very interesting thing about that is that strategic planning, from thinking from outside inwards, makes you to be proactive. Before some things will emerge, you are able to accomplish, because you have profiled all the all the strategic factors from all the strategic stakeholders. And that is the only way you can be unique, you can be different, and you can create values that essentially is going to make everybody in the society happy. Well, there is always this debate around you want to have 50-year development plan, 100-year development plan, and like us, that we have 10-year development plan. There is always that debate. It's a debate that is very genuine, but, strategists and planners that are here, we agree with me that the longer the time, the more unrealistic will the assumptions behind the plan be, and the more unachievable all those things that we set in the plan is likely to be. In 2019, by the time we were closing 2019, nobody knew the COVID-19 pandemic is going to come. That has prevented us, denied us the opportunity of seeing the faces of our partner. And I was telling our strategic partners in UNICEF, so it's been a long time. If anybody tells me it will take this long before I see the face of Ada, I will say no, it's not possible. And Alan is there. You see, you have been promising us, you are coming to us, you are coming. We never saw your face. And I know it's COVID. So, naturally, whether you want to do a 10-year, 20-year, I tell people, yes, in our own strategic plan, we'll put 10 years. But if we had put 50 years at the back of that particular thing, nothing will have changed. If we had put 50 years, nothing will have changed in that plan, the way it is. But when you set a target that is close, 10 years is a long time, but the truth of the matter is that it gives you opportunity to focus on the goals that you want to achieve. Knowing fully well that 10 years is long, but it's very close. And you are able to, work hard in ensuring that whatever you have put down, you are able to. And we even set timelines for review of this plan. That if we discover that very critical macroeconomic assumptions behind the plan and other assumptions behind the plan, they are no longer tenable. We have to call ourselves together. Let's look at this thing. In 2020, that is why all states, we have to go and review our budget again. Abi, I'm sure you did it too. So, 20 years, 100 years, 50 years is a choice that you want. But just to say that the number of years that you put must also be balanced with the realities around us. That's the point I'm making in that particular respect. Well, what is the institutional framework that will help us deliver on the assignment that we want to do? The Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget must lead. That is the agency created by law or by administrative fiat of the governor. By law in Ondo. Law. Went to the House of Assembly? Okay. The PS has confirmed. Created by law that has the mandate to plan and budget for the state. And once that is in place, all we need to do is to support them to be able to. And the only job the only role they play, which is important, and this is where many people misunderstand, many of us that are in the planning architecture. Many people look at us as if we are intruders, that planners are intruders. What is the problem of these people? They are always, you're welcome, sir. They are always disturbing us. They are asking for this, they are asking for that. A planning ministry plays coordination role, and that coordination role, they cannot do it without the support of all agencies of government. Knowing fully well that you really, really have to provide input to the planning ministry before they can plan. Even in the budgeting process, you know that it is the budget that you submit to planning that planning collates. Abi? So, planning, and that is why they don't implement any project. Mr. PSR, do you build roads? It's not his job. But yet, he's the one that must go and make sure that there is enough money in the budget to ensure that the people in the Ministry of Works are able to do their work. So when you look at that, they have to be the one to take the lead. Coordinating. But I am saying that coordination role will be extremely difficult without the support of all agencies of government. So they have to take a lead. The Joint Planning Council. Now, there is a council established, which is the one that the governor just inaugurated. That Joint Planning Council, the secretariat of that Joint Planning Council is still in the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget. So it's not as if the Joint Planning Council is going to work outside the ministry. No. The secretariat of the Joint Planning Council is within the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget. Who serves at the secretariat? The officers in the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget are the, secretariat, the officers that will be resourcing the Joint Planning Council. But the Joint Planning Council, I must add, please, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you have been appointed. You have been appointed because the governor believes that you have a role to play and that you are going to play that role efficiently to the ultimate delivery of the state development plan that the governor has the intention of creating. So please, let us create time. Once you don't attend a meeting, you are going to set that committee back by several weeks. Because anytime you come, you'll be making comments that has been resolved several weeks ago. And that will mean that we have to go back and now be talking, trying to let you understand, bring you to speed, etc., etc. That is not productive. So you really have to create time. You have to make time available so that you attend all meetings. It is important. In addition to this Joint Planning Council, you will need planning teams. Different planning teams. But those planning teams are the envisioning workshop. You are going to be having different sectors that will fit your state. And the various agencies of government that are going to be in the various sectors will be identified. All of you will agree about it. Once you have agreed about it, then you will have team leads for each of those planning teams. Please don't use sentiment to appoint the team lead. The passion, the commitment, and the technical competence of who leads a particular team is critical. If you have somebody who doesn't care so much or doesn't pay attention to details, you make such a person, when you finish writing your plan, you will see the gaps in everything. So you need very, very committed people to really champion. And naturally, these people are supposed to be people at the level of permanent secretaries and the political functionaries in the various agencies. But more importantly, permanent secretaries. Akọ̀wé àgbà kánrin kése. Àwọn ló lè ṣiṣẹ́ yẹn o. They are the ones that can do it. Because once you are calling meetings, if a permanent secretary is seated on the table, I don't see any of the officers that will say they are just roaming around and they are not going to attend the meetings. So, but once you are a permanent secretary, you are the planning team lead, and you don't attend meetings, you have lost it. Because no other person will have that status to be able to hold the meeting together. And it becomes a problem. Don't forget, Mr. Bumi Alade is coordinating all his colleagues in the various sectors. So he cannot come to your sector and come and be identifying strategic issues for you in your sector. He can only visit on inspection to come and encourage you. So if he has to go to all the sectors that are to be identified, then don't kill this man. He cannot do it. So The permanent secretaries that are here, that are his colleagues, please, that is your job. And we have situations whereby in a particular sector you have about 3 permanent secretaries belonging to a particular sector. It shouldn't be a problem. It shouldn't be a problem. All of you are co-chair. Whichever one is not going to be available must communicate to those people that are going to be available to chair the meeting. And if you have opinion that is very strong, pass it to that person so that we don't go back and be discussing your question when you come back again. So there is a lot of need for you to actually build and engender intra and interagency collaboration for this to be able to work. It is very, very, very important. There is no way anybody can say, I want to do this and I'm not going to talk to this man, or I don't like the face of this lady. You won't get anywhere. So, those planning teams, we call them in our own state sector champions. They are sector champions. But what we've also discovered, which may be also very useful to you, is the fact that, yes, we have permanent secretaries to do the job, but the job of a permanent secretary is heavy also. He's administering a whole ministry. Maybe there are several agencies again that are reporting through that permanent secretary. So that work is not. So permanent secretaries that are going to be sector champions, please identify very young officers that are very, very energetic, technical, and competent. Don't give jobs to people that are going to be giving you excuses. They will not help you to achieve. And we have some experience that, I think in some cases, whether it's the PS or the SA that writes that this particular ministry give us this officer that will do A, B, C, D, and the permanent secretary in that ministry that where the request is going, we look at the officers in the ministry. This man is handsome. You go and attend the training program. They will start pandedium there. Hit it. If there is anything after the pandedium, take it. So this man is back in the office. But he knows, before sending him, that what the job that will follow, maybe he's not the one to do that work. Maybe there is a scheduled officer that's supposed to do that work. He has sent him to go and hit pandedium and come back with the envelope. When the job come, you know, Madam, it's your. And Madam want to complain, but I didn't go for training. He said, which training do you need? The thing will bounce back. Because you will be writing. You will be visiting that sector. Their report will never be ready. Their report will never be ready, and you will be under pressure. Mr. Governor wants to know, when is this plan going to be ready? So all these things are things that are very, very important that we take note of now. Don't send officers officers that will not perform a task. Don't send them for training that you know they are not the one to play that role. I think it's fundamental for us to also know that. The role of legislatures.
I'm sure 45 minutes will be too short for my prof. But please.
No, I will speed up the discussion.
Yeah, it's okay.
Thank you so much.
10 minutes more.
Okay. The legislatures has a very good role to play in the planning process. And thank God you have carried the House Committee Chair along. That's the best way to go. By the time you go to your MTF and all the like, please go and do a presentation to the House of Assembly and let them know the parameters that you are using in preparing your MTF. Otherwise, some ministries will go back to them and say they will be changing your budget. So if you don't want them to change your budget, bring them along from the beginning. Nobody goes to our own House of Assembly now, after the state development plan and we have the process in place. They will say, why do you want this change in your budget size? And what we tell them is, yes, if you want the change, go and tell us where the money will come from. because we have a very realistic and practical approach, a comprehensive model for forecasting what will be the total revenue coming to the state. Want us to increase the budget size, where will the money come from? If you tell us, we're happy to accommodate your idea. But even that idea, happy to accommodate your idea. But even that idea, if it's going to be accommodated, it has to follow a process. Because you don't just dictate projects at the final stage of budget preparation. No. Budget preparation, going through this process, is bottom up, from sectors, from stakeholders. It's not somebody that is just writing top down and say, just include that project. It is wrong. So, in that particular government actors, civil society organizations, community-based organizations, representatives of labor organizations, religious leaders, development associations, representatives of organized private sector, development partners. Development partners, their own role at that meetings goes beyond just contributing ideas. They are also using one eye to look at areas of intervention where they can support you. But they are not going to talk. They want to see whether you are serious or you are not serious. As you are developing the planning, they are watching you. See, they are here. They are watching you. So if you do it, wuru-wuru, they will say those people are not serious. So when you bring anything out, they will say, we are not sure. Let's see whether we will be able to support that will do things rightly. Representatives of other political parties. And I'm particularly happy the governor mentioned it. That's the person that should say, oh, I don't want this. He said it. When we were doing our own, we included representatives of other political parties. And we told them, we wrote letters to them. It's not a matter of saying it by mouth. And they came, though not all of them, and they were part of the process. Because the plan is not about Governor Akeredolu. It's not about APC. And he said building the capacity for